Marge. Cartoons don't have any deep meaning. They're just stupid drawings that give you a cheap laugh.
Believe it or not, what you just saw may reveal why The Simpsons has been on for 13 years. The show is notorious for making a mockery of everything sacred. No one and nothing are off limits, not even the network paying the bills.
We're going to find that alien.
What if we don't?
We'll fake it and sell it to the Fox network.
They'll buy anything.
Of course, criticism has followed the show's outrageous irreverence. Everything from corrupting America's youth
Cool.
to causing the decline of Western civilization. Time magazine called this cartoon show the best television show, period, of the 20th century. It's now seen in 60 countries. In a recent poll in Great Britain, The Simpsons were voted more popular than the royal family.
It is a slapstick satire. The slapstick works for the kids, the satire works for the adults.
Matt Roush is a critic for TV Guide.
I mean, people think the show is idealizing bad behavior. People think the show is bad for you.
So how has a cartoon managed to stay on top in the turbulent world of primetime television?
King of the world!
For the answer, we went to the big man. Homer Simpson, patriarch of the family, loyal husband and father, bumbling idiot.
You can't handle the truth!
But he wouldn't talk to us. So we went to Matt Groening, The Simpsons creator.
What do you think is the most basic reason for why The Simpsons has been able to be so good for so long?
I think the characters are really likable. I think that even Homer, as bad as he is to his family and to himself and to the world at large, he's a likable guy.
That likable guy never would have existed if Groening hadn't first come up with this cartoon, called Life in Hell. Back in 1986, the creators of The Tracy Ullman Show liked it and asked him to create some animated shorts for their show.
And I was going to do my cartoons, and then I found out that whatever I showed them, Fox would own, and so I said, forget that.
Ironically, not willing to risk his good stuff, Groening invented the Simpson family on the spot. Marge is Homer's long-suffering wife. Their kids, Bart, a naughty 10-year-old, Lisa, a precocious, world-weary 8-year-old, and baby Maggie. He named them after members of his own family, with one exception.
I thought if I named the main character Matt, it would be too obvious, so it's Bart.
But the similarity stops there.
My family is nothing like The Simpsons.
The crude drawings were a big hit on The Tracy Ullman Show, and so in December of 1989, Fox gave The Simpsons a show of their own. Jim Brooks created The Tracy Ullman Show and worked with Groening to develop The Simpsons.
The last thing we wanted to do was a cartoon, because we wanted to make it real and we wanted to establish reality.
So they placed this dysfunctional middle-class family in a kind of Everytown USA, with an incompetent police chief, a pompous newscaster, a sinister billionaire, and dozens of other fully fleshed-out characters. The Simpsons has grown from one man with a pen and an idea to an army. There are over 200 animators, 30 writers, a 35-piece orchestra.
These characters now are alive. They're alive to everybody who works on the show. They're certainly alive to the actors who, make them talk.
These actors do more than just voices. They create a history and psychology for each character. Homer is played by Dan Castellaneta.
I guess it would be like a kid in a man's body, but trying to deal with the fact that now he's an adult.
Castellaneta developed the voice by studying Groening's crude drawings.
He had a huge overbite and sort of reminded me of Walter Matthau. So I sort of did a Walter Matthau kind of. My jaw would go out, my neck would go in, and then my IQ would drop about 70 points.
So, man, is he dumb.
Where does dough come from?
I was a big fan of the Laurel and Hardy shorts, and there was a comedian. It was always kind of their foil. He would come in and go, oh! And so when Matt had written Annoyed Grunt, So I went back to that, and I went, "Doh!" And he says, "Wait, could you do it shorter? Because we only had a few seconds." So it's, "Doh! Doh! Doh!"
We should really put that in the corner.
Like Castellaneta, Hank Azaria does numerous voices on the show, including the endearing convenience store guy, Apu something.
How do you say his last name?
Nasapima Patalon. I don't see why people have such a hard time. Just pronounced, it's spelled like it sounds. Sounds like it's spelled.
Good rice, good curry, good gunde, let's hurry.
So you start out with a stereotype, and then you start peeling away the layers of this person to see what they're really like underneath.
Spoofing stereotypes while finding the humanity underneath is the job of the writing staff, a staff that is double the size of the average live-action sitcom. They spend months working on just one episode. George Meyer started out as a writer and is now one of the executive producers.
Is there a purpose to The Simpsons?
If there is, it's to get people to re-examine their world, and specifically the authority figures in their world.
And those scripts are crafted to tap into the inner anarchist in all of us, to have their characters push buttons that few real people could get away with.
Isn't that a sin?
Marge, just about everything is a sin. You ever sat down and read this thing? Technically, we're not allowed to go to the bathroom.
We do things about subjects that I know would just make people flip if we weren't a cartoon.
Like in this episode, Homer's Phobia, where Homer is forced to confront his fear of homosexuals.
He prefers the company of men.
Who doesn't?
Homer, listen carefully. John is a sexual.
There's a lot of criticism that the American sitcom doesn't show families who go to church. And so, well, The Simpsons go to church. We've actually shown God.
Good.
And yet these critics are not satisfied.
This irreverent attitude appeals to many of the lesser gods of our society, celebrities. They line up to poke fun at themselves. But ultimately, the success of the show rides on the main characters, especially Homer. And after months of intense negotiation, he finally agreed to speak with us.
Yes, this is the original Homer Simpson.
Homer, I'm really glad you could take the time to see us.
Is this one of those things where you ask me to taste 2 colas and tell you which one is better?
No, this is a news magazine.
Well, I just want to reiterate that your investigators are not allowed in my garage, my freezer, or to look into the years 1983 through 1995. I said the freezer, right?
Maybe we should talk to Bart.
Bart doesn't want to talk to you.
Hey, Chris Cuomo, how you doing, man?
Why, you little... Oh, we're going to have to do this again. My robe was open the whole time.
So Homer's as dumb in person as he is on TV. But despite that, his family truly loves and accepts him. Maybe that's the secret. This subversive sitcom is really pushing traditional family values. Now that's funny.